All right, folks, we're back. We got the recording going again. So we are going to get started here with the second flight. So that way we can singly put these up on YouTube in our series that's going on. So we're here at Chandler Lake. Beautiful scenery, flat out. I'm sorry, folks. Excuse the language. Kick ass flight in here. Flying in, basically, if you can kind of imagine my cursor being the plane, coming down in here, turning out, and then turning back in to land. So that way you can kind of like a real elongated, weird looking S turn into here. Because we came down from 9,500 feet. 7,500 feet just made me a little queasy. So, but anyway, we're at Chandler Lake. We're getting ready. We have the aircraft fired up in the sim here. We still got to do the weight and balance and all that good stuff on it. But we're just finalizing the final touches here of getting the ACARS program up and running on the new airport. There's that. And bear with me a little bit more. I've just got to get the aircraft selected on it. And of course, I don't think we're going to fly this at 30,000 feet, but hey, it's the flight sim. You can do what you want. Cessna 208, there we go, load it. And I know we don't have that many. I think it's 7, but we'll get the official word here in a minute. But anyway, let's get into the pre-flight here. We are going to go to 7 initially. So we'll put that in at least. It looks like 8 peeps are going to join us, but we're going to check with Sim Toolkit. So for that, we're bringing that up. Hit the right one here and fade that in. I'm going to make it a little bigger. I hate covering the airplane up, but all right, so there we are, folks. We are on it. Just getting checklists set up for the next step here. All right, so with Sim Toolkit, you can kind of get a feel for what we're doing. Here's the lake we're at. We're going to be flying out that way. Let me pull it up via the live map. Here's what I wanted to do, but of course, time does not give you any help in the flight sim world. Um, we were coming in this way for the airfield. See, I could have. We're close. Could have parked here, could have parked there. But anyway, folks, I'm happy with where we're at. We're a little off of it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you can see it shows you the airport and the runway. But anyway, we came in, and if you can kind of visualize this, we kind of swung out this way, swung back around, and worked our way right in for the final. Was really fun approach, folks. So that gives you an idea. Also in this view, as we scroll out, if there's any other aircraft in the area, it'll show us in different colors depending on the networks they're on. So with all of that in mind, let's go ahead and look at the flight plan. Okay, slight change from what we planned originally. Instead of going to uh, JEKPU, JEKPU, as you would have seen in the beginning as I was getting things set up. Lo and behold, the RNAV approach into Arctic City works off the other fix that's about 20 miles longer and really stretches our time a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and fly that so we can just do it. So let's get going here. So looking at Sim Toolkit, load sheet, 8 peeps. A payload of 1,780 pounds, fuel 1,253. So let's get into here and make that happen. Again, I'm going to zero everything out. 1780 and 1253. CG looks good. Done. Apply. And we're ready to go. Okay, 7,000 initially. We may go up to 9,000. We're going to go VFR 9,500, possibly again. Okay, so let's get the load sheet out and look at the flight plan real quick. Don't need to go in too much depth here because it is slightly off. We're going to be going 75 miles. Make it now. Correcting. Where's my... See if I can correct it here. Nope. Hang on a second. Oop, I just clicked out of that into that. There we go. And save. There we go. All right. Move that out of the way. Move that out of the way. And put that in here. So we're going to actually fly 77 miles, and it's estimating 39 minutes fly time. Okay, so back on Sim Toolkit, I've got things rearranged there. So what we'll do is we're going to fly some different headings. We'll get those set up here momentarily with the GPS. So, where were we? So we're looking at, we'll call it 75 miles, 208 at 11 for our average wind. 7,000, is that possible on our flight path? That might actually be doable. We might go at 7,500 feet because looks like our highest sector is 6,500 before we get into the Arctic Village area. So we might do that. So let's close out of here. And we came off VATSIM because we did some rewinds. So we'll get back up and on that here real quick. I'm going to get rid of Sim Toolkit. We're going to hop up into the plane. And I'm going to bring up VATSIM real quick. Connecting us. Getting our flight plan up here will be PLAR, PALR, PARC, and our routing is to here. VFR file. Okay, so we have our flight plan on file. It'll be up there shortly. We are going to fly VFR. Weather conditions are pretty crappy out in here, and with the granite cumula all around here, folks, like I tell you all the time, granite cumula is something you don't mess with. Cumulus you can, but not granite cumulus. You fly in and you don't fly out. You go kersplat on the mountain. So because of that, and because I want to fly today, that's why the weather's set the way it is. As you can see, we're going to take off straight to a mountain, so we're going to be banking pretty quick on the takeoff to avoid the, again, granite cumulus. So, pre-flight. So we've done our pre-flight inspection. Weight and balance is complete. Doors, we're closing up now. All our 8 passengers are aboard, and their bags and all are loaded. We're getting rid of this pogo pole, and I hate that about Carenado, that you have to have all that other garbage out there instead of just the pogo stick. I'd even settle for just the chocks and the pogo stick, but whatever. They didn't talk to me when they built it. Okay, so coming down, the only door left to go is ours. Close it up. Parking brake on. Seatbelt secured, switches all off. You can see that right here. Only one I've got on when the battery comes on will be theirs back there. All the other switches are off. Okay, ignition. Let's come over here. Ignition is in the normal position. Circuit breakers going right down. All of them are in their normal positions. Fuel tank selectors, that's on the top here. They're both on. And oxygen, we don't need to talk yet about. Radar is down in the middle here, off. Air conditioners, they're all, well, that's hard to see there. We can't see it there, so we'll do it this way. There they are. Well, kind of, geez, you can't even see them all there. Oh, they're all there. And bleed air's off, and cool cabin air mixtures are pushed in. Props, we're going to bring them all the way to forward. And our red condition lever, that's going to be all the way cut off. Rudder locks and fuel shutoffs are both pushed in and off. And let's go ahead, turn the battery switch on. Do our fire detection test. It's only one, folks. It's that light right there. Okay. Not sure why I'm not hearing the bells. Huh. Is that maybe because of this? Huh. Okay, and hopefully, please, folks, in the chat room, if things are too loud with this prop, let me know. Okay. Annunciator day-night check. Okay. Moving on to before start with the battery. Battery switch stays on. Volt amperage is at 24. Showing 24. Okay. Emergency power lever set. Standby power is good. Prop area, let's clear it out. Got to make sure the moose aren't around. They can do some damage to the plane. Okay, nobody visible. No animals. Clear prop. Okay, with the propeller area clear, fuel boost pumps on. Starter switch on. Okay, now I've got to get into a different position here to be able to move it. Okay, here comes the fuel, going to low idle. All right, folks, we're fired up, and we just crossed 50, so we want to turn that off. Now, I've already done this once, but we'll do it anyway, because on any time you start the sim with the Carenado, make sure you tap the starter button 3 times, and that'll allow you to turn the ignition on and off. The light will go off. Okay, we've got the starter switch off. Inverters, check flight instruments are good. Pressure. That's showing kind of low. It's barely in the green, so good. Fuel flow's good. ITT's good. Okay. Generator. Shows charging. Fuel pumps can now go to normal. So go back to the switch view here. It's in the normal. I'm going to go ahead and turn the ignition on and the standby power on. Avionics can come on down. Now we're going to set 7,500. Okay, so let's go around the horn here and And let's get our nav and beacon on. People would like to not walk up in front of a spinning prop and lose a body part or 2 or 3 or 4. Suction gauge is in the green. Heating and ventilation as required. Okay, so here we go. On. Pull mine. Go up top here. Those 2 are on already. Okay. Alright, so let's set the route in. Not very much to it, folks. So flight plan, we're at PALR. Let's click on it. Let's clear it out. Okay, so the name of this fix we're going to. Hang on. TUVVO. Yeah, it was giving me a little like, whoa, I'm going to be able to go to that one? TUVVO. I'm just verifying on my sectional. Victor, Oscar. Enter. Accept. And then Papa. Alpha. Romeo. Charlie, enter, accept. There you go, folks. Flight plan set. There's our line. So what we're gonna do here, let's do a little pre-flight. Looks like, let's go to our flight plan 065. Now, let me pull up my sectional one more time. Arctic Village. Okay, we do not have a nav aid there, other than these are nav approaches. So, that kind of sucks. Okay, and the flight plan's set. We're in nav mode. Let's kind of zoom in here, see if I can get, this is best we're going to get. We'll fine tune it en route. 200 feet. Gauges all look good. And FD is set. Let's go to on. And I want to do one last check before we're on the map. So is PARC. There we are. There's no one in Alaska. All right, folks. So hope y'all enjoy the ride. We're gonna taxi out here. There is no METAR here. When I took off from Inuvik Pass, about 3 hours ago, it was snowing here, folks. So yeah, welcome to June. It's snowing here. I know those of you in the UP of Michigan have experienced that every now and then, as well as other parts of the world. Sorry. Let alone the southern hemisphere. So let's see, everything's turned on. Bleed air, yep, bleed air's on. Okay, got our important pitot heats and stall warning heats, so that way they don't ice over. Here we go, folks. Let's do a quick look at the plane. And of course, listen to that beautiful engine. Now, runway 3 is behind us, so we'll back taxi to the end. It's 3,000 feet of runway. I am not taking chances. Okay, we just put a notch of flaps in. Technically, the checklist calls for 20, we may actually do it. Now, as I showed people before, excuse me. Okay, now as we're looking out the wing, remember I tell you folks how pilots will most of the time not be able to see their surfaces? This is one of those planes. Oh, he can see the wing, but you can barely see the surface moving out there. And same outside the co-pilot. It's even harder. You can only barely see it. So we're just going to make sure we go to the center, back, center. It's free. Forward, back. It's free. Left, right on the rudders. And they're free. Trim. We're going to set a little bit in for takeoff. Right about there. And we'll adjust on takeoff. Taxi light on. And I'm sure the pilots wish they could do that too. We're going to go to high RPM for the taxi, only because it's such a pain in the rump to taxi out here on the gravel or the soft stuff. And we're going to get ready for takeoff. Ice protection's on. Avionics and radar set. GPS nav switch set. Strobes coming on the runway. Flaps will go to 20%. Cabin heating. Windows closed. Brakes released. And away we'll go. So here we go. It's going to sound like we're going to take off here to try and get out of the stand. Really love to know if this is real world or not. Okay, here comes the runway, so let's put the strobes on. And we'll go ahead and be nice, put the landing lights on too, since turning towards them. Radar can come on now. Even though there won't be anything for it to pick up. And I don't have any VORs or anything like that, so we can't tune those in to help us out any. It's strictly off the NDB, which we have here, and there's nothing at Arctic Village. Okay, so I'm going to come out of the plane. And this is the reason why the King Air wasn't employed. It's a 3,000 foot runway, folks. That is pushing the C-90s. I'm pretty sure it can use the runway, but it's pushing it. Okay. Strobes and beacon, I know, just turned off. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go to 20 degrees on the flaps. 7,500 feet set, and fuel conditioner or fuel condition lever is set. So 20 degrees, power seat takeoff. We're going to go. Basically, I'll show you what we're going to do here. Release. Okay, so V1 is a 75, V2 80, and we're going to try to climb out at 90 while we're turning. Again, remember we got to turn 20. I believe it's 065. Take a look here. Yeah, 065 is kind of sort of what we're going to aim for. So without further ado, folks, what I was going to show you, we're going to bring the torque up. Let me go here to in between the two red lines. Try not to go over. Props will settle here, and we're going to try to keep the ITT in the green as well as the torque. And then we'll set shortly after takeoff. Okay, so brakes are released. Flaps are set at 20. Flaps come up to 10 degrees at 85 and up after 95. So here we go. Now you have to be easy with pushing this one in. This doesn't have the electronic engine controls like the others. And sorry for the reject. Everything was set on Mac Air except one thing. Didn't start it. So we'll get that set. And we've still got plenty of runway, so I'm not worried about that. Just making sure. Ding, ding. And start. Up. Yeah. All right, now we're in a better position to go. I hate when I forget that. Here we go. Okay, speed's alive. There's 60.
V1. Rotate.
Nice and easy. Go ahead and start executing that turn. Watching my engine gauges at the same time.
V2.
Right, just because it's starting to try to be the pain that it loves to be. Arm, engage, flaps 1 or 20, 10, I'm sorry. Flaps up. Now, let's turn back to around 65. We're going to flip the nav switch on and go nav. Let's get our power set. Go about 1850. Power's still going to be at max. Flaps are up. We're on our way, folks. like I said, folks, there isn't a lot of clearance up here sometimes. But we're on our way. And I hope you enjoyed that departure. It was a little bit of fighting the airplane, but the fight will come when we get up here to 7,500 and have to level off. All right, so en route climb. 110 to 120, we're doing fine there. Let's pull back slightly on the power. I'll show you why. What I'm watching is this ITT. I want to try to keep it right about this notch after 7. That's 720. And that'll still give us a pretty good performance figure there. Let's see if she'll level off. We're going to go ahead and kill the lights. And the cabin lights. All right, folks, so we are on the way. Thank you for flying with Mike. If you like the show, please feel free to click follow. We'd love to have you along on our adventures. Next up will be, if all goes as I hope, Thursday we'll be flying from Fort Hood up to Fort Drum into 767. So that flight may get canceled if things go sour at work. So we'll see what happens when we cross that bridge. All right, so there's 7,500. There we go. Again, we're going to watch that we keep that torque at about, or temperature at about 720, 700 to 720. So our torque is going to be whatever it is in between there. Temperature is here, torque is here, fuel looks good over here in the flow rates. So we're in cruise, still climbing. I just caught that. So let's trim down a little. Pitot statics on, props are at 16 to 1900. We are at 1850. Easy to trim down ever so slightly. Power is set, and we're on our way, folks. We'll get you the ETE here in just a moment. Clearing out some things here. 24 minutes to Arctic Village. And I'll go ahead and get that overlay going for now. I always forget, I'll say that, and I always forget to take it down. All right, we're still climbing, dang Okay, we're back down to where we need to be. Let's see if it'll bump to where it'll level. Okay, 7,500 feet. All right, so Arctic Village is somewhere out there about 24 miles ahead of us. Let's push out this a little. Actually, we got to go ahead and run the arrival brief here, because we actually have one this time. So let's do this. Let's see, where's charts and RNAV. Okay, so let me pull that up for you. Charts. Getting it so it's in a better presentation area. Okay, folks, so for the chart, going to runway 3. So I'm going to kind of first just look at the chart. Across the top is our frequencies, as we all know. Common traffic is 122.9. VATSIM World's 122.8. That we don't change. Okay, next up. Next line is R. Okay, so we'll zoom a little so we can read. RNAV. Now, our final approach course is 017. That's from Dukek all the way in. Now at Rivian, located about right here, we're to be at 4,500 feet. MSL. That's 24 feet above the ground. Our MDA is 2880. Shouldn't have any troubles, folks. We're VFR set, mandated on here, and we're still holding. I had to check our altitude. Airport elevation, though, is 2,000 feet above sea level, so hence we're 793 feet at the MDA. Now, if we go missed approach, you can see it looks kind of crazy, but it's back to Tuvo, I guess is how you say that. So we climbed to 10,000, direct FIPNU, then via 082 track to Hollis, then a right turn track to Tuvo, and we hold. Of course, transition level, we're not even near it, 18,000. And let's see here. So you can kind of see we're going to come up from Tuvo. It's about a 17-mile run, almost 18. Minimum is 7,000 at DUCK. Now, it looks like we're going to be in a valley. So we'll kind of see how that pans out. But anyway, 7,000 to Duquette. Then we just track it down. We'll be ECADU 5,500. Again, Ryan is 4,500 feet, and we should start our 3-degree glide path at that point. Our aircraft will be descending down that at approximately, I'm going to try 100, anywhere from 90 to 100. And so that'll tell us about a 500 foot a minute descent rate ought to get us that. Then COD, this is vertically, CODIV, 3.5 miles away from DJIC, which is definitely missed approach if needed, and then right on into the runway. Minimums, obviously we have to have 2,880 MSL and 1 mile. I'm sorry, mile and a quarter for this. All right, folks, so that wraps up the arrival brief. We are now 28 miles from our initial. We're 500 feet above, folks, so guess what? We're not going to be descending. All right, so let's see here. Let me pull that away from y'all. Oh, I never put it up for you. Hang on. My bad. Okay, real quick so you all can see it. Because I know some of you enjoy looking at these charts. I'll zoom it in. Again, your frequencies across the top, our instructions, how to fly the vertical. First off, oh, that's my bad. I forgot to turn that off. Okay. That's on my 8 cars program. It's a top of descent or 50 miles out warning. Pause. You can disable it. And that IDOT behind the yoke, didn't get it. Anyway, course 17. There's our 4,500 foot at Ryan. 2,880 feet is our MDA, which is 793 feet above the ground. And then airport elevation 20,292 feet. And it's 5 feet lower on the touchdown zone. You can see by the lateral, we're going to be flying through valleys. Welcome to bush flying in Alaska. 7,200 foot, 5,000 at the most on either side. Now, descent-wise, we're going to be at UCEK, which is the start at 7,000, then just following it down. Our approach speed is right about here, so 500 feet a minute ought to be perfect. We'll see. We'll adjust, of course. One thing we don't see is approach lighting or PAPIs, so we're not going to see that. But just for your information, for those curious, this is a picture drawing of the missed approach. And as you can see, you go out at FIP and you turn heading to Hollis. Oh, excuse me, folks. And then down to Tuvo again. And that's at 10,000 feet. So we climb up to 10,000 feet and we stay at 10,000 feet. And finally, we round out with the minimums. All right, we're going to go ahead and pull that away. And the reason I left this up is you can kind of see it a little bit here. There's Tuvo heading straight up to Duke. Duck. I don't know how you say it. Now, being that we're getting 7,000 feet is our basically initial altitude, we're not going to descend or do anything until we get right on to sec. Then we'll come down to 7,000 and slow up to probably 120 to anywhere from 100 to 120, somewhere there. That gives us flap speed, folks. So let's see just how many more miles to go. 18, okay. And like I said in the previous video, the big difference in what I really don't like in the 430, you don't get the information around the aircraft. That being the mileage. Sometimes you get winds, time, stuff like that. That's on the 530. I don't know about the 750, the 750. I've never seen it, tried it, or the 1000. But that's what's irritating about this. It's so basic. And I mean, really, I understand some of the aircraft, that's about all you need. But man, it's so basic. All right, then I'm going to look at our sectional one more time. Actually, I can bring that up for you as well. Let's take a look at that. A second. All right, we're on the section. Eventually I was going to get the right one to move. Alright, just wanted to make it a little easier for you to see. Okay. Now, I don't have the arrival obviously in, so you can see we're going to come right through this valley, right in the river, right in. So that's what I wanted to see. 5,700 foot limits over here, 4,200's the highest over here, 72 here, but as we get closer, tapers down, although we do have a 6,000 foot mountain outside the area, but still, 47 to worry about, 45 out, so we're coming in right like this, folks. Okay, and our turn is coming up here in a moment. That will be a turn. arrival, and how about we do that? I just realized that. Then we're going to go back to procedures, activate the approach. Okay, so there we go. So we're going to turn to 342. And about 8 miles. That's why I'm setting it up. Message will probably tell us set course 66. Okay. Well, we're not. Okay. Okay. Let's go back to the map. There's our fix, and that's where we hold also, folks, if we go west approach. And so you can see the approach. Oh, no, you can't. Never mind. Let's reset it there. Let's look out while the airplane gets ready to turn. Looks like it's just pretty much high terrain out here. That looks like the river we're going to be following. Let's see. Getting some pretty good speed out of this plane, folks. At FSX 140, I'd be hard pressed to get up around 150. So, not too bad. It would be nicer if we could get her up closer to 160. But it's also not going to be too bad here. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to do the descent check. We're not going to start it. Okay, so ice protection not needed. Pedostatic is on. Seatbelt sign on. Altimeter set. It's not changing. GPS nav switch is set. And power is set. So we're ready for descent. Like I said, we're going to do it just 10 miles out of Dusek to 7,000. And then get on the approach. All right, here we go. Initial Tuvo. It's already wanted to send us to 7,000 when we took that turn. Anything, the sketchy Leo, welcome aboard. We're turning right now on the RNAV approach for Arctic Village, Alaska. By the way, it's snowing there in real life. about at 7,500. All right, so we're coming up to Dusik here in about, what are we looking at? 12 miles. And again, all I have to do is descend 500 feet. And that'll get us set up at that point. Then we're coming down to 50. That's what I'm just going to leave it. Because then I'm going to come down to 5,500 feet and 4,500 feet. Each about 3 to 5 miles, respect 5 then 3 respectively. So we'll just kind of cruise along. We're going to start slowing up here soon. Nice thing about flying a Caravan, you pretty much keep her heading all out because you are at the still flying at or around the speed most airliners are at for landing. The only thing that sucks in this plane is when they tell you to keep your speed up as long as possible, because you still got to bleed off a lot of airspeed to land. Okay, so get us down to 7. Nice gentle descent. 500 feet a minute. Okay, and again, seatbelt signs would be turned on now, folks, and maybe even earlier. So. Watching the GPS over here, folks, and starting to look out here, see if I see a runway, because that's the next valley we're going to start through. But yeah, this has been a fun couple of flights, folks. The next one is a pretty long flight. We'll get into that when we get on the ground. Let's see something here. Yeah, when we get on the ground, we'll get into it. Okay, we're coming up on 7,000. Let's see how it does. And let's go ahead and flip the lights on. See the lights as we come around, and it's kind of flattening out, although we're kind of like a high plateau out here. All right, we're coming up on our turn in a couple of seconds here, and I'm going to go ahead and start powering us down. Bring the torque back to about 11. nice and gentle. Basically, I'm going to let her fly it in. That's more like 27. We're slowly inching our way down. Pulling the power back. Now I want to start looking at about 110 or 100 to 120, so that at our initial I can start deploying flaps. Coming up on 5,500 feet at the right moment. We're crossing Icardu. Ryan is next for 4,500 feet.
$2,500.
Okay, we're just getting back up to 4,500. Now we're bleeding our speed off. There's 120. All right, so we're now going to go into before landing. Seatbelts are secure, fuel high idle, props full forward. Radar off. Autopilot off as soon as we see the runway. Ryan's been crossed, so we need to come down to 3,500. I do believe I might have the runway in sight. I'm going to verify before I kill anything. Notch of flaps. Okay, I'm taking the plane. Fooled me again.
1,000.
Okay, we're keeping that 500 feet a minute going here until about 2,800 feet. But we got the runway in sight. Arctic Village traffic, Mac Air 572 type Caravan, 5 mile final, runway 2. Let's firm up on it. Landing. Okay.
500.
More power back. Flaps full.
$400.
Power up to about 85, 90. Carry that
300.
in.
$200. $100. 50.
Up a little.
40. 30. 20. 10.
All right, 273 a minute. Nobody guessed. Okay. Well, let's take a look here and see. Looks like a pretty desolate airport. All right, let's see what Sim Toolkit shows. Okay, so it looks like wow, that don't look like what satellite shows. Well, yeah, I guess it does. Okay, so we're actually pretty close to the ramp. Okay, so what we're gonna do, basically just head over to that light. go, folks. Believe it or not, that's pretty close to where Sim Toolkit paints the ramp. I'll bring it up for you here before we shut down. There we go. Just want to get it in the right position. Second here, there we go. All right, let me shuttle it over. So you kind of see where we're at. Here's where Sim Toolkit. Now, yeah, I didn't follow the route explicitly. Granted, I should have come down all the way down this way and then took a shortcut. But yeah, here's the ramp. Pretty much right there, I think, is where the light is. Somewhere right in here. So, but anyway, folks, there's those mountains we were worried about to the north of us, to the south of us. All right, so let's go in and get this thing shut down. Why don't we? Okay, lights off. Parking brake set. Strobes on. We'll turn those lights on. Those go off. Okay, so flaps up. They're coming up. Ice protection's off, strobes off, landing and taxi lights off, fuel condition lever. We're going to hold at full power here until I get some avionics turned off. Stand by. Those two go off. We cannot turn that one off. Okay, so avionics can now go off. Okay, dropping down. Standby power off. That's this white switch right here. Off. Fuel pumps are off. Inverters, we don't have bleed air. And air blowers all off. Okay, ITT has been cooling for well over a minute, so we will now go into low RPM for a little bit. Trying to see, I really haven't seen a big change. Give it another minute. Okay, in the meantime, we'll look up here. We're set off. Oxygen looks good. Oxygen's off. And all right, temperature is good. Feather the prop. And off. Fuel to cut off. And we can't announce at all. We would keep the seatbelt sign on until the pogo stick is installed in the back, folks. Risk of tipping the aircraft if all the people moved and rushed the door. Okay. Beacons off. Batteries are off. Go ahead and open my door real quick here and we'll finish up the checklist. And I'll get the other guy's door open at least. That'll get some air in here. Alright, so lights are off, batteries off, controls are locked, tie downs are going to be installed, fuel filter, and all of that done. All right, nav switch, I'll go ahead and shut you off. And we'll turn those off. And all I got left to do, we'll put the pogo stick, whoop, wrong switch. And all we'll do is, all right, folks, there we go. We are here in Chandler, Alaska. Hope y'all enjoyed the ride. It was a fun ride, I'll have to give it. I mean, it'd have been neat if we had real world weather, but we're not coming in near minimum conditions with this plane. So let me close out a couple more things. There we go. And just so that, because I do want to do a rerun of this. I didn't get Mac Air's numbers. Hang on, I'll get those for us. We'll close that out. That's because I also want to go make sure both flights are in there. Cruise center profile. And where's my flights? View my PIREPs. Let's see if 50 will do it. Two of them approved. And their page doesn't show it. I'm not going to dig. No big deal. All right, folks. So what we're going to do here, we're going to first pull Sim Toolkit away. We're also going to go ahead, because it's kind of silly, turn the overlay off. And then finally, come off VATSIM. Close that. As soon as this black box disappears, we're going to go and rewind the flight and see how it did. Let's see if I can do it from right here. Okay, we're going to bring her in a little bit closer. Let's see this one. Don't mind the engines, folks, because you see zero. Well, actually, we could be. Who knows? Bring her in just a little. Let's see how this looked. Let's go way too low. Much better. right, let's rewind it out a little bit. Try it again. We'll look at it from a different angle this time. Actually, let's do it. Bad either. Get an idea from a passenger perspective as we bring her in. Well, folks, that's going to be a wrap today. We're going to go ahead and head on out. We've been going strong here for about 5 hours or so. This was a fun set of flights today, as usual. Some good passengers in there. Last time. So folks, we want to say thank you to all of you that watched us the whole day or ended on today. We appreciate you. If you love the show, love the idea, love the concept, love the content, please click follow. One, that lets me know you like it. Two, when we go live again, you get an email letting you know when we're flying to and from. Sometimes I say what airplane, sometimes not. But for now, folks, we're here at Arctic Village, Alaska. Next up in the Flying Alaskan bush tour is what's it called? From here in Arctic Village to Circle City, and that's about a 227-mile run. So, folks, hi, you put the king here. This is a long enough run. So we'll see you then. If Thursday goes, that'll be Hood, Texas, or Drumdoon. Again, thanks for flying with Mike. We love all of our followers and anyone that just views into us. Y'all have